tell me straight. I don't know what's happening. Oh my goodness. Welcome back to my channel. Just kidding. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. So I wanted to sit down and do a video to help young people who are trying to either move out of their parents' house, or you're moving away to college but you want to move out of the dorms, or you just want to live by yourself. I don't know your situation, but I've lived in several places recently, and I don't know, I've kind of gained a knowledge about the average bills that an adult pays, but definitely not everything, because I don't sign up for everything. I don't do everything. So I can only share my experience, but to give you guys a little bit of a background, I am 24 years old. I'm a full-time accountant, CPA, also auditor, but aside from what I do every day, I went to college for 4 years away from home. I lived in the dorms for 3 of those 4 years, and then I moved out my 4th year with my best friend. So there's 4 of us living in a 2-bedroom apartment, and everyone kept telling us it's gonna be so expensive, don't move out, it's so expensive, all these bills, da 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 da. Well, we did it anyways, and honestly, for all of us, it was a lot cheaper than we expected, but that was because we split every bill 4 ways. Plus, we were literally sharing a one little tiny bedroom in a townhome, both of us. So very tiny bedroom, but we were best friends, so we didn't really care. Plus, we were coming from dorms, and that's what most adults didn't understand. It's like, yeah, it's a small bedroom, but did you see the closet we just came from for 3 years? So for instance, my internet bill when I lived there was $11 a month. My rent itself was about $130, I think. It was less than $150, whatever it was less than 150 bucks. Utilities altogether was about 30. So then after I graduated college, I had a weird funky summer where I was back in my parents' house for a couple months before I accepted my job in September, but I was taking summer classes, 5 summer classes, to get the 150 credits to sit for the CPA exam. And my parents were in between homes because they were selling their home, buying a new home, but we kind of flipped the new home. So we did a lot of renovations on that new home. Technically lived in 2 houses that summer. And when I accepted the job with the state, I moved to Nashville with random girls that I met off Craigslist. And I actually didn't meet one of my roommates for like a whole solid 7-day week of living there. We both were living there together. We just never saw each other. Part of that might have been the fact that I got sent to Memphis on my first week of work, so I never really was in my own apartment, and I didn't even really get to unpack. Very stressful first week of work. I do plan to sit down and do a video talking about it, mostly laughing about it, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, when I lived there, one of the roommates' dads was our landlord, so it was a little different because it wasn't like a formal complex. If we needed housework done, he would come and fix it because he owned the house. And the way that the bills worked there was rent and utilities. Everything was all included in one sum amount. So I paid my roommate on Venmo for her to pay her dad. So it was definitely more low-key than like a giant complex. So then after living in Nashville for a year with those 2 girls, I decided to transfer to our Knoxville office, which I'm from Knoxville, and I moved here, and I wanted to live on my own, and I knew it was gonna be expensive, and it is expensive, but I knew it was gonna be worthwhile for my development as a human being, and plus just the fact that I've had independence for the past however many years. So yeah, then I became apartment hunting when I came to Knoxville, and let me tell you, it was a process. I was pretty picky, but I had specific things in mind that I wanted that I knew I wasn't gonna settle anything less for. And long story short, I toured 15 apartment complexes, and that's a lot. So now that I've lived here for a year and a half in my own place, I think with the past experiences I've had, I can share a little bit of wisdom of the bills that adults pay. So, new to adulting, here we go. So your most expensive cost is definitely going to be your rent, or if you're buying a house, then your mortgage payment, but that's a whole other, if you're buying a house, you've already figured out all these things I'm going to be talking about. So your rent payment is definitely going to be the most expensive. The most important thing to think about with your rent is to know what it includes. And that may sound silly, but if you go to like a big organized complex, you're going to have a lot of little fees, like landscaping fees, amenity fees, trash collections fee. They even have water fees. There's all kinds of little fees that could be embedded in your rent, or it could be separate from your rent. So that's what you need to find out. That was the biggest thing I learned when I went to all the different Knoxville apartments. Apartment hunting was that a lot of the places were the same price, so they were in my price range, but then some of them didn't include over $200 of fees. So then my rent is $200 more. Like, why would you separate that out? You're pushing people away. But I guess they're trying to hope that you don't realize it's separate until you move in, and then you're like way out of pocket. And also rental insurance. Most complexes are going to require that you get rental insurance. It's only like, mine is only $7 a month, so it definitely varies from place to place, city to city. It's not an expensive cost, but it is something that I have to pay every month, required. And that's just in case, you know, I light a candle, burn the place down, and everybody in my whole building loses all their stuff. I did mention a trash collections fee. My apartment that I currently live in, we pay $7 a month, just like the rental insurance for trash collections, but they don't actually come and collect it. We have to take the trash to this dumpster, but I think we're paying off the dumpster. I think they're renting or leasing this dumpster sitting right outside my apartment. So my $7 a month is helping pay it off. So that's something to consider as well. well. If you live in a bigger city or a more eco-friendly community, then you'll probably have where they come and pick up your recycling and your trash. We don't really do recycling a lot here, so I have to go take my recycling to the recycling center. A lot of complexes have a trash compactor where you'll have to take the trash to this giant thing and it like eats it up like in the cartoons. Also, I have several friends who literally bend over backwards to make their rent payment, and that is a very dangerous place to be in. And obviously with gentrification happening in every city in the US, they're trying to charge a ton of money for all these really nice apartment complexes and trying to push people out that don't have much money, and it's a really ridiculous process. So rent is really high. That's like when your grandparents say they got an apartment when they were in their 20s and they were making $12 an hour. Yeah, because their rent was $200 a month, not $1,000 like it is now. It's changed a lot. Rent has really gone up, but you just gotta shop around and find what's in your budget. But a good price pointer if you are looking for a place is to make sure that your rent is only 1/3 of your monthly income. And most complexes, like several of the ones that I looked at, made that an actual requirement. Like you would not get approved if you didn't make 3 times the rent payment per month. So that's something just to keep in mind. If that's not a requirement, make sure you think about it and know exactly the expenses you spend on a monthly basis, because you don't want to be strapped down living paycheck to paycheck because of your rent payment. It's not really something you think about all the time of just living in your place. So next are utilities, and sometimes these are combined, sometimes these are separate. When I lived in college, our utilities were all combined, so we paid one giant water and electric bill. And now where I live here in Knoxville, there are 3 different utility bills that I have, but I don't have gas in my apartment, so I don't pay the gas company, but I have water and I have electric. And obviously these vary month to month, so you can, cut down on your water. You can keep your apartment warmer in the summer, cooler in the winter, save some money there. So those can fluctuate, but different utility districts charge more money than others. Like for instance, my water bill here in Knoxville is so freaking expensive. It makes 0 sense. Holy crap! My water bill is $93. So next is internet. Obviously, you probably want internet, and if you are watching this YouTube video, you probably need some internet. There's lots of internet companies out there. A lot of them offer good promotional rates, as in if you're a first customer, a new customer of that place, you get a really good deal for the first year. Then after that year is up, you're paying just like everybody else. But the biggest thing with internet is if you're gonna move into a big complex, most complexes only service the top 2 internet companies, Comcast and AT&T around here. In Chattanooga, EPB is their largest internet, so they force all their tenants to purchase EPB because they get a good rate being a complex in Chattanooga. So you may not get a lot of options, and that's really annoying to me because I would really like to have Charter Spectrum internet. I had great service with them back when I lived at college, but I don't get that option here. I have to get AT&T or Comcast. So we're feeding those monopoly oligopolies. I forgot what they're called. I've been out of college for too long. And next is cable if you plan to watch TV. However, I don't recommend cable at all, mostly because I don't hardly watch TV, but if that's your thing, you're gonna have to purchase some cable. There are good internet packages, internet cable packages, where you save some money if you really wanna get to cable. And aside from cable being an expense, you also have all the different streaming services, because this is 2020 and every single network decides to do their own streaming service. So, are you gonna buy Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus? I can't think of any more. Sling TV if you don't do cable. I do the Sling. It's a lot more fun, a lot cheaper if you're thinking about cable or streaming services or Sling. But also consider an indoor antenna. I got one for my upstairs TV. You get all your network channels that are closest to your city. So I get like 30 or so channels, and it's a one-time purchase. You just buy this antenna, you put it underneath your TV. You do have to rotate it trying to find the network. So whatever your favorite thing to watch, you face it that direction until it magically comes in. And that's a one-time purchase. You have at least network channels. There are some that go taped on the window. There's some that go outside. I wouldn't deal with that if you're in an apartment complex. There's a lot of rules. You may not be allowed to do that. But yeah, you don't always have to settle for cable. There's other options out there a lot cheaper. You also have your phone bill, your cell phone bill, so don't forget about that if you want to keep your data and keep texting your boyfriend. Next is a car payment. I don't have a car payment because my car has been paid off. We bought it in cash back when I was a teenager. It was the good old days. My car's turning 13 years old, so one of these days it's gonna fall apart. I'm gonna have to get a car and I'm gonna have a car payment. I'm gonna cry myself to sleep because I don't want a car payment. Don't make me get it. But that can get up there too, depending on what car you have. Please do not buy a brand new car. if you're starting out, get a nice used car that has low mileage so it doesn't depreciate thousands of dollars as you drive it off the lot. That's my little tidbit on the car situation. Used cars, always. Until you're really financially stable and you're doing pretty well, then you can go out and buy whatever car you want because you know the situation with all the bills. But if you're watching this video, you may not know the bills that come with life. And with a car comes car insurance. I don't know if it's required in every state, probably not. In Tennessee, it is a law to have car insurance, so that's an extra expense. Also, what comes with a car is a separate fund for all your speeding tickets that you get, unless you're not like me and you can actually keep it under the speed limit. I've had so many speeding tickets, I just have to keep money aside for the next speeding ticket. It's pretty bad. So all those I just listed, I would consider the big, huge adult bills, if you will, but I'm gonna add in some extra expenses to keep in mind when you do either move out or you live with roommates or whatever. These are some small expenses that you may not really consider. So one would be if you want to keep Amazon Prime in your 2-day delivery. I had Amazon Prime when I was in college with a student, and then I grew up and graduated and they charged me $100 and I was like, whoa. So yeah, if you want Amazon Prime, that is going to be an expensive expense, but it's something to consider. Also, if you're into gaming or your significant other or whoever you live with is into games, I know Xbox and PlayStation both have their subscription services that you got to pay for. With gaming comes really fast speed internet, so that's an additional cost if you're into that kind of thing. You've also got your music subscriptions if you listen to Pandora or Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Premium, whatever it is you listen to for your music. If you do, that's an extra little expense. I listen to Pandora, it's free, but I do pay $5 a month for no commercials, and that was the best invested $5 ever. I hope they never raise the price on that because I've not heard a commercial in about 8 months, and oh, hallelujah. If you're subscribed to magazine publishers, news articles, if you're like super into business and investments and you want to keep up the stock market, you're probably reading Wall Street Journal. I don't know. I don't subscribe to any of those things. I don't really care that much, but that is going to be an expense because it's not always free. Or if you're still in college, your professors are probably making you subscribe to one like my professors did. And then as soon as I got out of that class, I was like, cut the cord. I don't know why I just said cord. Made it sound like my umbilical cord's connected to my professor. Also, groceries. Let's talk about groceries for a second because one of my best friends still lives at home, which is fine. He's being very financially smart. He never has to buy groceries. He's never bought groceries. I'm like slightly bitter about it because I always took it for granted about my parents having food in the pantry and just the selection of food, because when you live by yourself, what you buy at the store is what you eat. There is no, I'm gonna go to the store, come home and eat something that I didn't buy because it's not there. And this may sound common sense, but at my parents' house, I never know what's gonna be in that pantry. They got all kinds of stuff in that pantry. But for me, I'm not gonna buy extra stuff because it's expensive and that stuff adds up. So what I buy, I gotta eat, whether I'm in the mood for it or not. And it's an expense. For me, I spend about $50 a week on groceries, so I feel like it's not that bad. So 4 weeks a month, that's about $200, $250 a month that I'm spending on just food to eat at home, not including the fast food, the going out with friends, the dinners. So yeah, keep that in mind. And the annoyance of literally you haven't gone to the store in so long, so you have no food to eat, so you get really irritated, but you don't want to go to the store because you don't feel like it, but you're starving to death, so you need to eat something and not be hangry. Can y'all relate? So those are the extra little expenses that I could think of about things that I pay for every month or so. On top of that, I have my church tithes. Those always come first. I always tithe before I start paying my bills, just so I don't think about it. It's money for the Lord. Nothing can be more important than that. Also, my student loan debt. I make a student loan payment every month. I don't really think about it. And also, recently, I got LASIK in December, so I'm still paying off my eyeballs. Hopefully to have them paid off by this year in December, so that'll be good. So yeah, adulting's expensive, just like everyone has told you and crammed down your throat. But it's definitely manageable too. And depending on what career you get in after college, and if you have dual income, if you're living with your significant other and you guys are both being able to pay the bills, it does come somewhat more expensive because you're paying for 2 mouths to feed, but the whole rent, utilities, internet, streaming services, all of those would be just one account for 2 people. So you're definitely saving money in that realm. Whereas for me, every single thing I get is just for me, even if I don't use it all. Like for instance, my internet comes with whatever Mbps a month, and I don't use maybe half of it the whole entire month because it's just me. I don't need that much internet. But there's definitely pros of moving out and living on your own. Let me tell you, it's been the best decision I've made. I've absolutely loved it. I rely on being home alone every day when I come home from work to wind down. I don't have to talk to anybody, and it's just so great. I I can shower anytime I want. The whole other time in my life, I had to wait on my sister to get out of the shower or a roommate to get out of the shower, especially when you live with 3 other girls. And even in Nashville, I shared a shower with my roommate, shared a bathroom. So, you know, we had to work out our shower schedules. And the freedom of the thermostat is a blessing because right now it is 65 degrees in my apartment. I love it really cold. I'm literally wearing short sleeve, like that's just how I roll. Also, everything is exactly where you left it last. That can somewhat be irritating if you lost your pair of scissors and you're wanting to yell at somebody for who took the scissors, but you live alone, it was you that took the scissors. So you have to search everywhere for where the scissors are at. But growing up, me and my sister had the same like giant box TV in our rooms. So she would come and take my remote when she lost her remote. Well, then she would lose my remote. And then once I'd get onto her for that, then she would come in my room and start taking the batteries out of my remote. So I'd be trying to flip the channels and nothing was working. Growing pains. But my biggest thing, honestly, even though I'm an accountant and don't have any interior design skills, I really liked getting to decorate my place exactly how I wanted it, the vision I had in my head. Even for this desk, I basically invented this desk in my head and was on the internet for weeks looking for a desk that I really wanted that just fit what was in my head, and this was it. And I love it. I mean, you can put a sign that says poop in your bathroom because no one's gonna tell you you can't. And that's exactly what I did. I love the decoration of my guest bath. I bought all this stuff on Amazon one day and I just love it. Who's gonna tell me I can't buy this? Nobody. So yeah, you guys, hopefully that wasn't a super long video. I'm gonna have to do some serious editing to trim it down because I've been sitting here forever talking to you guys. But hopefully that helped you guys get an idea of what some of the adult bills are like. Adulting 101 with heaven. Because it can get expensive, but it is manageable. And yeah, people all the time tell me I'm stupid for moving out on my own, or I'm stupid for paying rent and not investing in a house where I build equity for myself. I get it. That's my decision. You can make your own decisions. Everybody's different. But hopefully this video helped you out and you guys got some information for your little brain cells to help you out if you're trying to make that adult decision on to move out or not. But yeah, comment below. You can email me at heavensaudventure@gmail.com if you have any specific questions that you don't want the whole YouTube community to see. And I'll leave you guys at that. So thank you guys so much for watching and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye. I can't talk today. Ah! Rock on, dude. Rock on. Why did I just do that? I'm having so many problems filming this video, but the sun's going down and I gotta hurry or we're not gonna make it happen.